Thank you, Lloyd. Much appreciated for all of this. We have a few more questions, and Jeff Krebs, I'm going to come back to you now and see if we can get your mic working. I've just asked you to unmute one more time. If you can go ahead and do that. Jeff, is that you? Jeff, we see you, but we're not hearing you. I don't know if there's a volume control on your end, but if you can, we're gonna come back to you again. If you can try to work this out, we'd love to hear your question. Let me go now to let's see. Now we have got Norma Pascal. Norma, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and unmute.
Hi, good morning to everybody.
Morning.
Lloyd, question. To block the blue light in computers and iPads, do programs like Iris, for example, work? Or do you think it's better to get like a screen to block them?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Norma. I don't actually know of Iris. I don't know what that is exactly. So what I recommend with regard to the blue lights, I don't know if that's like blue light blocking, a brand of blue light blocking glasses, but what I recommend is the F-Lux, quite simply, F.Lux, L-U-X, because it's free. And I also so that's if you're using a screen. There are other brands also, and I also recommend blue light blocking glasses. So maybe that's what you're talking about. The brand I like is RA Optics, because they've really done the research. Might be a bit more expensive perhaps than the other brands, but they're actually done the research and they're protecting you from certain frequencies of light, and they've got the daylight glasses and the night light glasses, and it's really at night where you need to be particularly careful in terms of protecting yourself from this blue light, which really does throw a spanner in the works in terms of your bodily rhythms, notably your circadian rhythm. So yeah, so I hope that's answered your question. Before you can actually buy filters and things for the screen. I don't recommend that. Just use like F-Lux and with a good brand of blue light blocking glasses. That's what I recommend.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the brand that you prefer?
So the brand is R for Robert, A for Apple, Optics, OPTICS, RA Optics, and it's a gentleman, very young man. It's like 21 years old, brilliant, called Matt Muraka, who's done some really great work on this, and talks very well to this subject of how blue light impacts our health, impacts our mitochondria, and impacts our biology very generally.
Lloyd, thanks for those great suggestions. And we're going to, Jeff, we're going to ask you to unmute one more time. And we see that your mic seems to be working. Hopefully this will work. Jeff, if you can, go ahead. Jeff, can we hear you now? Jeff, I'm so sorry. I'm afraid there just seems to be something amiss with the microphone. So stay tuned for the rest of the conference. Hopefully we can get that worked out. And for any other questions you have in the future, I'm going to move forward now to David A. David, if you would go ahead and unmute yourself and share your question for Lloyd, please. Thank you. Here comes David A., I believe. David A., if you could just, there we go. David, you there? Hi, David. Seems like we have a little bit of an issue there. David, are you there? Yeah, there's something strange going on. It seems like your mic is working, but somehow the sound was really off. So David, we're going to come back to you in a couple of minutes, and hopefully that will have that tech difficulty fixed. Let's go back one more time to Natasha. Natasha, it looks like you have a follow-up question if you'd unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir. I do have a follow-up question. I have been back and forth with the school board in terms of the exposure levels in the school. I have a meter, so I secretly measured the school. and there's towers outside the school on a building that are pointing towards the school, which I think is like crazy, and that nobody is able to see this. The school board came back and said that I need to refer to the Government of Canada website, which hasn't been updated in 20 years in terms of exposure levels. So my question is there a direction in research that you would, one place that might have a whole lot of research? I know there's over 30,000 studies I've been kind of dabbling in. And do you have an approach in terms of schools and how to approach this for the future?
Okay, very good question. Thank you. And yeah, kids. So very bad news that, you know, governments around the world, that school authorities around the world are taking this line, despite all this research, which there is there. So the approach, so in terms of the research, it's really the research regarding this radio frequency microwave radiation. That's what these cell towers are emitting. We've got research, there's a lot of research on my website. Just put in cell tower at the bottom. The search is not so good as it was because, well, thanks to Google, it's now sent, so my Google search doesn't work anymore. So I've been deplatformed on Google. So it's the search function is not so good. So it's our own search function, which is not quite as effective. But there is a lot of information. There's a number of studies on these effects, different effects that cell towers have on health. Notably, there's one in a big Brazilian study, which, I mean, studies going back 10, 15 years or more. And also studies on children, a lot of studies on children. There's a Gandhi study. Don't ask me how to spell that, but it's not like Mahatma Gandhi. It's anyway, but it's Gandhi, and it's a 1995 or 1996 study. Lloyd Morgan's done a lot of research on this with the Environmental Health Trust. That's another great resource to go to, Environmental Health Trust, EHT, which is headed by Dr. Deborah Davis. There is also a lady called Sis Doucette, who is a mother who's been down, you know, done all of due diligence on this whole question with her school, and then created a website and so on, and started sharing information on this, on sort of an approach on how to get change, you know, get schools on board, and people and teachers and parents and so on board with what's happening. So yeah, so those are a few. Hopefully that's given you some information to share. So on my website, as I say, EHT is another one. There's a lot of websites, or quite a few anyway. There's a lot of censorship also, but yeah, hopefully that will have helped. And it's a question of bringing people together. There is, just the research that is on my website. There is actually an article on how to protect yourself from cell tower radiation, which explains kind of the protocol also. And that is, I believe it's from the homepage, or if you do a search on that, protect from cell tower radiation, you'll find that. So hopefully that helps, Natasha.